Giving papers at conference, presenting at conference, is hugely important in your career as a young scholar. This is the way in which you get to be known to other people, people who might in the future be sitting on an appointment committee or on a search committee. It's the way you form the networks, the connections that are going to be such an important part of your development and in assisting you to become as good a scholar as you can possibly be. So really, you should, unless there's some really significant opportunity cost involved, generally accept invitations to present at a conference. If a conference comes up which you haven't been invited to, but which you think would be good for you to attend, you should always make a proposal to the conference organisers for a paper that you could deliver, either as part of a panel, and it's always better if you can arrange a panel yourself. Conference organisers love panel proposals because it saves them a lot of work, or if you are going to present it as an individual and let the conference organisers assign you to a panel after you've done it. The paper proposal, if you're not invited to give one, should always be very succinct, very precise, and give a clear statement of what subject of your talk or paper will be about, and also try to link it as explicitly and strongly as possible to the general theme and focus of the conference, which may of course be anything from a very specific narrow one to a very wide one, but you should always try to show how it would fit into the general agenda that the conference organisers are trying to set and trying to follow. Now, when you actually come to write the paper up, a basic rule, which is common courtesy, which an astounding number of people don't follow, is to always get the paper in to your fellow panellists by the deadline. It's simply rude not to do this. To the extent that you do get your paper in on time, it's much more likely that it will be read by a large part of the audience, because if your conference organisers are doing their job at all competently, and you get your paper in on time, they will print it off, they will circulate it to the delegates pack, so you're much more likely to have an informed and engaged audience than if you just turn up with the paper in your bag having not sent it in on time. Also, it means that your colleagues on the panel, the people you're presenting with, will be much more likely to address the points you make in your paper. This is actually very good for you because it makes the whole experience of delivering the panel much more of a conversation, much more engaging, much more intellectually stimulating, and therefore much more likely to be memorable for the audience. They're going to remember you as being part of a really good panel, and that's what you want to do, because some of your audience, as I say, may be people in the future who have some crucial say in whether or not you get that precious academic job. When it comes to actually delivering the paper, always stick to the time limit. Don't worry about whether you're the opening or concluding or middle paper. That is much less important than most people think. Try, if at all possible, in your delivery to address or refer to points made by earlier speakers if you are coming after the first one or two speakers in the panel. This is good. It shows that you're paying attention, and it also links your paper to the other papers, and again, makes it more interesting, as I've said. A very important thing to realise about conference presentations is that the Q&A session is as important as the actual paper itself, if not more so. It's your ability to respond to questions, to react to them, which shows your qualities of clarity of thought, ability to respond to criticism, and mastery of knowledge of your subject. So you should really develop your skills in this area, your ability to take questions on board, respond in a way that's both effective and interesting. Obviously, you may often get hostile questions. Don't worry about this. There's a certain way of responding to a hostile question which both deflects the hostility and makes you more attractive to the other people in the audience, as well as defending your own position. Always start by trying to emphasise some point in which you actually agree with your apparently hostile interlocutor. That's very disarming. It will, to some extent, maybe even win over your hostile questioner. It will certainly make you appear attractive, open-minded, and generally pleasant to the audience. Having done that, however, don't back down unless indeed you suffer the unfortunate experience of having a questioner who does correctly identify a really weak point in your paper. In that case, there's no point in being defensive. You might as well hold your hands up and say, yes, you're quite right, that's a major flaw of the paper. Thank you very much for what you've done, and I will address it. If you think that the question is unfairly hostile, having established the common ground, what you go on to do is to defend your own position, not in a strident or forthright way, but simply by saying, I don't agree, here is the reasons why I think that my position is correct, and that in fact your position is incorrect. Many of the questions will be in the nature of suggestions as to where you could strengthen the paper, where there are weaknesses in it, and things you might look to. You should welcome these. These are extremely good, and it's one of the main reasons why, in fact, it should be presented in paper at conference. Essentially, these people are doing you a huge favour. They're doing work for you on an unpaid basis. And the standard response to all of that should be something along the lines of, thank you very much for your suggestion, I will definitely take this on board, and I'd be interested in maybe talking to you later to further explore these kind of comments that you have on my paper. That will be both good for you because you'll be doing what a scholar should do, which is taking account of informed and friendly criticism of your work, but it also will make you more popular with your audience because people always like to be told that they've done something good for somebody else, which indeed they have done.